Hello, this is a video to help you with grading your Alexander the Great worksheet. This worksheet had 5 different sentence patterns that you were supposed to use with it. And I know that can get a little confusing, especially when you are taking a crash course in grammar. And typically this course, really I should be every day working with you on each sentence pattern for about a week to really help you. So it wouldn't hurt for you to watch the videos a couple of times, and each time you watch it may become a little bit more clear. But this is an activity that I wanted to do with you so that you can really understand fully what is going on with these sentence patterns. Now, please remember that when you have a sentence, it has to follow one of the 6 sentence patterns. We've only done 5 at this point, but when you're labeling, if you are not labeling in the sentence patterns that we have, or if you're making up your own sentence patterns, it just won't work. You have to follow this patterns. That's what makes grammar so easy, when you really fully understand that it's the patterns that you have to be keeping to. So if it's a noun, linking verb, predicate, nominative, it can't be a noun, action verb, and then a predicate nominative. Or you can't have a noun and a verb and a linking verb and then a predicate nominative. You have to follow the patterns. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen so that you can see. Here we have the worksheet for Alexander the Great. Number 1, the life of Alexander the Great is quite interesting. We do have a prepositional phrase of Alexander the Great, because of is a preposition. Alexander the Great would be the object of the preposition. Then we have a verb. Now you may ask yourself, is that an action verb or a linking verb? We haven't done be verbs yet, so you don't even have to worry about that. If it's a linking verb and there's no action verb following it, then you know it is a linking verb. Okay? If there's an action following it, it would be a helping verb. So in this case, we have no verb after it, and that would make this a linking verb. And then we say who or what is for the subject, and that's life. Life is what? What word is it here? Life is, what's the word? Is it a predicate nominative or a predicate adjective? It's one or the other, because the sentence patterns show noun, linking verb, predicate nominative, or noun, linking verb, adjective. Look back at your sentence patterns. As you can see here, 4 and 5, the only 2 things that follow a linking verb are predicate nominative, noun 1, or predicate adjective, which is just adjective. So you need to ask yourself, what's the word following it? Okay, quite, but interesting would be the word, and I am going to put adjective here, because adjective is describing what kind of life. It's an interesting life. Okay, number 2, Alexander was royalty. Okay, we have a noun, linking verb. We have Alexander was royalty. Now here, royalty, if you look it up, it is considered to be a noun. It does describe a certain group of people, but it is also considered to be a noun because it is considered to be people. So we're going to call this a noun 1. Noun, linking verb, noun 1. Number 3, with his large, well-trained army, Alexander's father, King Philip, became very successful in battle. With his large, well-trained army. is what should be marked out. And then King Philip is the subject here. Okay, Arthur's father, but we have a name, King Philip, became very successful in battle. Became would be your linking verb. There's no action here because successful follows immediately after it with very, and that would mean it's an adjective. It's describing how King Philip was. He was successful. In battle is a prepositional phrase that we missed earlier. Number 4, at the age of 12, Alexander was very brave. At the age and then of 12 are your prepositional phrases. Alexander was very brave. Was is a linking verb there. There's no action in was. You can't show me was. Alexander is the noun, subject, and then was, and then the word brave, would that be a noun for predicate nominative? Or does it, in other words, does it rename Alexander or does it describe Alexander? We're going to be describing Alexander as being brave. Number 5, a horse dealer brought Philip a magnificent wild stallion. Now, I do not see any prepositional phrases. The action, we do have an action verb here, brought. It's not a linking verb because it's the horse dealer is bringing something. Dealer is our subject. Brought is the action verb. Philip, well, he didn't bring Philip. He didn't say, here, I've got Philip. What did he bring? He brought the stallion. So what, remembers, is your direct object, noun 2. When you say dealer brought what, that's your direct object. And now we're going to say dealer brought stallion for whom? Philip. Now he's your indirect object. He's the one who's receiving the direct object. Number 6, the horse was uncontrollable and afraid of his shadow. Of his shadow should be marked out. Then we have was, and because it's not an action verb, we know it's a linking verb at this point in our lessons. So subject is horse, that's easy. And now the words following was are uncontrollable and afraid. These are not nouns, so they would be adjectives. They are describing the horse. He's uncontrollable and he's afraid. So we have a compound predicate adjective. Number 7, the best horseman in the country could not ride him. So we are going to take out this prepositional phrase, in the country. The best horseman could not ride him. Now we're not going to use not, but could is a helping word for ride. Not is just that negative that's letting us know that it didn't happen. We have horsemen could ride who? Who could they ride? Him. So that would be your direct object. Horsemen could ride him, which we know not, but that's just a negative. You don't include that in your verb. Number 8, Alexander walked up to the horse and spoke softly to him. To him is a prepositional phrase, and to the horse. Okay, walked up is one of those verbs that goes together. Okay, so we have walked up as the verb, and then Alexander is your subject. Alexander walked up, and then they have one more verb, spoke. Spoke, walked up and spoke. Okay, number 9, he gently turned the horse towards the sun. Prepositional phrase, towards the sun. Not gently, turned. Turned is your verb. It's an action word. Gently actually is an adverb that tells how the horse was turned. He is your subject. He turned. And what was turned? He turned what? Turn the horse. Good. Number 10, he mounted the horse and rode off into the sun. Into the sun is a prepositional phrase. Rode off is like walked up. one of those verbs that go to, it's a verb that goes with a kind of like a preposition. Mounted and rode off are the verbs. And then he is the subject. He mounted what? Horse, noun 2. So you have 2 sentence patterns there. You have he mounted horse, noun, verb, noun 2, and then the noun, verb, he rode off. Number 11, King Philip was impressed with his son's ability. With his son's ability is a prepositional phrase. Was impressed is the verb, and then King Philip is the subject. King Philip was impressed. Was is a helping verb, helping impressed. 12, he bought the horse for Alexander. For Alexander, we're going to mark out. Action is bought. You can look at that verb and know it's not a linking verb. So therefore, if it's an action verb, then you have 2 options. Noun, verb, sentence pattern. Noun, verb, noun 2 sentence pattern. Or noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2 sentence pattern. So here we have he bought, and do we have another noun in the sentence? Horse. So what is it? It can't be a noun 3 because there's no more nouns for there to be a noun 2. Noun 2 cannot be in a sentence, in a prepositional phrase. So there's only one noun left in the sentence. So what sentence pattern would it be? Noun, verb, and then horse, noun 2. Number 13, Alexander gave the horse a name. So the verb is gave. Is that a linking verb or an action verb? Action verb. Who gave? Alexander, that's your subject. Alexander gave what? Did he give horse or did he give name? There's 2 nouns. So if there's 2 nouns, that tells us that it's got to be this sentence pattern. Whoa, sorry, there's writing all over. There's got to be number 3, noun, verb, noun 3, noun 2 sentence pattern. Okay, it's got to be that because we have 2 nouns. So Alexander gave what? He gave name to whom? And don't forget, you cannot do noun, verb, noun 2, noun 3. It doesn't work that way. It has to be Alexander gave name, direct object, to whom? Horse. Number 14, Bucephalus was Alexander's favorite horse. All right, we have a verb here, was. Does that sound like an action verb? Okay, it's a linking verb. You can't act out was, and there's no action following was. Bucephalus is the name of what? So that's the subject. Bucephalus was what? Horse is noun 1 because it's not an adjective describing Bucephalus. If it said Bucephalus was black, because Bucephalus was a black horse, if it said black, then yes, that's an adjective. But it says it's a horse, which is a thing, a living thing. So it becomes a noun, and it's renaming Bucephalus, because you could say the horse, Alexander's horse was Bucephalus. Could swap it around. Number 15, they rode thousands of miles and fought many battles with each other. Of miles with each other. So we have some compounds here. What are there, action verbs or linking verbs? I would say action verbs. Rode and fought would be action verbs. Thousands is a number. Okay, they rode thousands. So that would be a number because that's taking the place of that miles, because miles is in a prepositional phrase. So let's do they rode thousands. Direct object. And then they fought battles. Noun 2. So you have rode thousands, fought battles. Number 16, Bucephalus died of battle wounds. We have of battle wounds is the prepositional phrase, and now this is the easiest one. Died is your verb, Bucephalus is your subject. Number 17, Alexander gave his horse a lavish funeral. Gave is a verb. Alexander is the subject. And what did Alexander give? Did he give his horse? Did he take the horse and give it? Or did he give funeral? He gave funeral. That's the direct object. To whom? Horse. Very good. Okay, in 18, he named a city after his horse. Our prepositional phrase is after his horse. And named is your verb. That's an action. He is a subject. He named who or what? City. That's right. There's only one noun, so there can't be a noun 3 and noun 2. All right, this is the grade, this is the key, the answer key. You may go through and correct any of the ones you missed if you did not already do it so that you can try to understand a little better what's happening. And I hope this was very helpful to you. Study over what I've said. You may need to watch this a couple of times for it to be clearer. And I hope that this has really helped you. Thank you so much. Good luck with the next assignment.